Yes! Yes! I know! Oh my God!
Today we teach you how to drink 80 proof whiskey.
Like a real man.
Like a real, and like it's not, but more.
Also, we're articulate and well spoken.
Yes.
Daniel's gonna die too. But I'm Pavlovian lead trained. All right, so we had the Magnificent Bastards vote on their favorite 80 proof Scotch whiskeys. These are the 40% ABV whiskeys, and I don't get a lot of respect in the whiskey circles there.
They really don't.
Get no respect.
No respect. Really? Rodney Dangerfield?
Is that who that is?
Oh, you don't know? Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was doing, I guess, Michael Scott's impression.
Michael Scott's impression of Rodney Dangerfield?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's dive into these 40%, 80 proof whiskeys that the whiskey lovers say, hey, you know what, even though this is the floor, pretty damn good.
Yeah, now these are roughly in order in reverse of 5 all the way up to 1.
Okay.
We're gonna start with 5, a personal favorite of mine, which happens to be Ochiltosian 12.
See,
That was cool.
that's pretty good.
Wait,
Yeah, that's the thing.
do it to me.
That's pretty good too.
And Ochiltosian 12 is one we're gonna start with.
Yeah, and
this
we
is a
should-
lowland. Surprisingly, every time I drink this, and this is just a really accessible whiskey, not too much of a struggle, but not boring. Even at 40, I'm always surprised. You pick it up and you think, no, there's no way. The nose on this is very present.
I did not remember Ochiltosian being 80 proof.
Right? Citrus, right? And then this like cut grass sort of hay note.
I got like dark fruits and wood oil.
Yeah,
I'm
wood
getting,
oil.
like red apple.
It starts to head towards stewed apple if you live in it long enough, like baked apple.
Oh yeah.
Ah, isn't that great?
Oh, that smells really
What a
good.
magnificent nose.
And there's a vanilla and a caramel in the background.
Yeah, and unlike like a Macallan for me, the palate delivers on the nose,
Yeah.
even at 40.
Yes. Now, we should mention, like, well, why is Brianna here? Brianna, Daniel and I have both been talking, and even though she's very, very new to the world of whiskey, naturally gifted.
At descriptors.
Yeah, the descriptions, the tasting notes of things that she's finding in whiskeys.
You know why?
Yeah.
Because there's no filter between her right brain and her mouth.
No, there's... You know, a lot of people, you know, you'll hand them a whiskey and you ask them, what are you finding? There's this moment where like, well, I don't know what I'm doing, and they have to over-explain about how anything that I'm about to say, you can't hold me to it.
They're really worried about not sounding the right way.
Yeah.
As opposed to just jumping, going for it and seeing what happens.
Sure.
Okay, let's try it.
Okay.
Now, I will say, I think one of the reasons that Scotch as a category does this is because it's typically pot distilled. And so even at 80 proof, the pot distillation is allowing a lot of those oils and heavier notes to get through.
Yeah.
As opposed to plates in a column stripping that out.
Wow, that's not what I was expecting.
But not boring. What flavors you got going on there?
I got some prunes.
Yeah, some
Dark
kind
fruit
of
again.
like a date. Have you
Yeah.
had a date before?
Yeah. What were the ones that Eisenberg was all over? From Trader Joe's, like Mediterranean.
I think they were
date.
dates.
Yeah.
Yeah, some type of special date that looked like a weenus.
No, it was fig. It was figs.
Oh, weenus.
You know what a weenus is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, it was a dates that looked like...
There's
weenus.
there's a section in my neighborhood where a road does this like 90-degree turn.
Yes.
But it sort of widens out in this weird shape because some houses are right there. So anytime the boys are like, can we go ride our bikes? I'm like, yeah, but don't go past the weenus. This feels classy to me, but not.
Yes.
You know, the thing I was getting in the nose I wanted to say, but no one else said it. Terry's Oranges. The chocolate-covered orange wedges that you get at Christmas.
I see what you
I've
did
never
there.
had those.
What? Let's go.
What? All right.
It still managed to be complex and nuanced and multi-layered even at 80 freaking proof. Which usually, that's a telltale sign. If you want to go exploring and you see 80 proof, more often than not, it's like, yeah, there's probably something that's going to be a little bit more interesting.
I think you're going to be surprised at the next one.
Yeah.
Because when this made the list, I was like, there's no way that's 80 proof. And then I went and grabbed a bottle. Sure enough, freaking 80 proof. Oh! Okay, ready? Go.
Yeah. Nice. That was smooth.
Yeah, he feathered it in.
That was it.
The second one is Aberlour 12. Double oaked, which just means bourbon cask and sherry cask.
Yeah.
But remember, we always use this as a perfect example of like a really sherry dominant space side.
Yep.
80 proof.
That's
right.
Yet again, I don't remember it being that low.
Me either.
We should pay more attention to our jobs.
We're in the thick of it. The wilds, the home territory of the elusive video editor. I'm decked out in camouflage because they can't see green and I need to collect a specimen for our research. I'm going to be doing that with German engineering. Harry's. I'm going to be doing it as delicately, carefully as possible because I care about his feelings so much. My camouflage is working perfectly. I'm going to move closer to try and collect the sample. He senses me. I have to remain perfectly still. The first sample is successfully harvested. I have tracked him again, this time to his watering hole. The boys at the lab are going to love this one. We grade all of our specimens on a scale of 1 to full handy. And you're like a 7. I have you now. Our final sample. Our expedition has been a resounding success. I'm moving in for the kill. Oh no!
Harry's. Pretty good razors.
Clever girl.
Get a trial set with a 5-blade razor, blade cover, and foaming shave gel for just $3 when you go to harrys.com/whiskeytribe. Or get $5 off any shave set when you go to the same link.
All right, I'm doing the hand thing because somehow I ended up with whiskey.
Do this. Put your hand over the glass and then splash their palm with it.
Or just plop down in my weenus oil pile.
Rub your hands together until it's bone dry. And you're
I
gonna
think
get.
I got a lot on there.
You're gonna get. That's fine. You're gonna get the remainder oils. Then smell it.
Whoa.
That's just the leftover oils after you've evaporated all the alcohol in the water.
Oh, that's weird.
Isn't that interesting? Now go back to the glass, and you should find it in the glass too.
Gives me like a cocoa kind of shea butter.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's also a bit more floral, and it's also a little bit softer on the nose.
Almost dark cherries, like Bing cherries.
Yeah, the bean.
The bean.
Yeah, the bean.
What are you getting? What else are you getting?
Well, I was also getting the cherries too. Like I keep getting just a little hint of chocolate.
And then way in the back, there's that vanilla.
Yeah, a little vanilla-y.
Oh, taste it. More mild on the palate for this. It switches more to the sweetness.
Yeah, it's softer on the nose and on the taste.
Yeah.
It still has the things that I like about Ochiltosian. The dark fruitiness, that carries over into the Aberlour.
Right.
But this is a softer presentation, both the nose and palate.
Yes.
There's fewer layers, but it's still not boring.
It tastes light fruity. What's so funny?
I'm sorry.
Distinct lack of weenus.
So back in the day,
Yes.
my friends had a dog and this cat. There was this one spot in the living room as it came out of the hallway into the living room. There was a couch arm and a chair arm. And every time the corgi went through that little narrow entry, the cat ambushed it. All fours. Right? For its whole life, right? And the cat died. Right? The dog lived 3 more years. It was an old dog now.
Right.
For the rest of its life, every time it walked through that, it would be just like walking really slowly through the kitchen.
Yeah.
It would get to that spot and it would run, and then it would walk again. Like it was just waiting to get ambushed. And I've noticed that Rex has a new habit over the last couple of years.
Damn it.
Where he rushes his sentences only at the end because he's waiting for me to interrupt him. Oh my God! Yes! Yes! I know! Oh my son of a God!
You have been using Pavlovian training techniques on your co-host for years.
To get you to go faster. Like, speed it up. I've got interesting things
People
to say.
need to hear me again.
Wow.
Hurry it up. So, a little thing though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you finding the slightest trace of a soapy note?
You know what that is? The sherry, the sulfur note from sherry is stronger in this one. And it's coming across as medicinal almost.
Think of the soap. It's like those flavored bubbles.
Flavored
You're not
bubbles?
supposed to drink them.
No, they make some that you can eat.
In the bath?
Are they scented? Maybe you're not supposed to eat them.
This explains a lot. All right.
Moving on.
Oh, that was
Smooth.
really good.
Ready?
That was really good. No.
No. Sorry.
That was a disgrace.
All right, this one Glenfiddich 12, a classic.
Yes.
And actually made an appearance on our Best Whiskeys Distillers drink that aren't their own.
Yes.
Right?
Also made an appearance on Best Whiskeys for Beginners.
Only about 6 miles away from Avalor.
Really?
Yeah, just down the road.
Huh.
Totally different whiskey.
It smells like taffy to me.
Sing it to me in high notes.
Taffy.
There we go.
Salt water.
I get honey and like cereal. Like maybe almost a Cheerio.
Cereal.
I was gonna say Honey Nut
Interesting.
Cheerios.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of citrus.
It's like got an orange juice smell to me.
Orange with a sweet cream, like a little creaminess, a little vanilla in there.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
finding vanilla in all of these.
This is a lot of creme brulee to me, with like an orange slice or a lemon, maybe lemon actually.
Yeah, there's a little bit of lemon, like a lemon cake.
Oh, this is the first one that's to me drinking like 80 proof.
It is very soft, but the flavors are finding on the nose. Those still show up, and they show up enough to where it doesn't feel like they're watered down, but
Right.
they are soft.
I get a little pepperiness.
Ah, okay, so some people might mistake that for peat, but there's no peat in this whiskey. So if you're getting a pepperiness, it's likely coming from used bourbon barrels. That's the oak making its way through all of the oils.
So to resist the Pavlovian training techniques, I'm going to.
So the great
I'm
thing
just
about-
going to start talking louder.
All right, so I'm going to move what seems rather quickly, but keep this one. We're going to compare it to the next one on the list, the Glenfiddich 15.
So, 2 Glenfiddichs got voted up on the list by the Magnificent Bastards in the Whiskey Tribe. They like themselves some Glenfiddich. We said 80 proof, 40% options. Hold on, I gotta focus all of my chi.
Too short. You ready? Trying to help him out.
Nice.
yeah.
Oh, that felt
Really
right.
good. We said 80 proof, 40% whiskeys, 40% alcohol. Are there a tremendous number of options at that?
There are way more in Europe than there are here because
Okay.
there's a lot more 80 proof whiskey released in Europe than there's in the US. Like for example, Laphroaig 10 was on the list, but in the US we can't get Laphroaig 10 at 40, it's all at 43. And that makes a difference.
Yeah,
You and I have seen it. But this is the Solera cask, which is where they took the bourbon and sherry casks, and then they dump all of them into a giant vat, oak vat. They said it's not been completely empty since 1998.
Wow.
So since 1998, they've been like pulling part of it and adding more and pulling
So
part.
there's molecules of whiskey.
Yeah.
Right. This
From
is
1998.
This is not a 23-year-old whiskey, but there's molecules of 23-year-old whiskey. Yeah.
And it was actually older because it was already 15 when they put it in.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So math. I'm getting a little bit of almost a piggly brininess on the nose.
Really?
Yeah, this is the outlier note. Here, I shouldn't start with that. You should start with the base note.
Okay,
and
yeah.
then find like the fringe things, but we'll start with the base.
I see what you
Something's
mean.
wrong. I feel like I keep smelling like a day at the pool, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But like
bad.
with coconut, like
Like suntan lotion.
suntan
chlorine.
lotion, but some chlorine.
You know why? I think that's the
Yeah.
sherry is more forward and all the phenolic sherry notes. Plus the oak is stronger in this one.
So I like the 15 Solera cask quite a bit better.
Oh, me too. It's coming back to being as hefty as the Ochiltosian was.
Yeah.
Like the palate on this has the complexity that I liked in the Ochiltosian 12.
Most of the bottles you find at Glenfiddich are going to be the Glenfiddich 12.
Yeah.
This one though, I still, from what I understand, has a lot of distribution, just not quite up to the 12 levels.
Yeah, I'm
This is
kinda
my
looked-
favorite. I like it a meaningful amount more than the 12. The 15, damn. Speaking of 40%, 80 proof whiskeys, the most popular scotch in Scotland.
Yeah.
It's an 80 proof scotch. It's famous grouse.
Yeah, since like the 80s.
It's like a blended scotch.
right?
Famous
Well, because it's a
grouse.
drink, and you know, it's like here, you know, people love Jack Daniels and Jim Beam, right?
Yeah.
It's just the everyday Scotsman doesn't automatically have a fine-tuned preference for expensive Scotch.
Yeah.
They just like a good, easy drinker, and
Yeah.
famous grouse is it.
That is-
Are you going to pour us your honorable mention or
Yeah,
not?
you do it.
No, you need to pour it and slide it down.
All right, we're doing Rex pours. 3 fingers or 5?
5.
5 fingers. Put your fingers up there. Good
Wait.
God.
That's like
Okay, and then
Yeah. Really?
get nothing.
Bastard.
wait.
It's not easy, is it? Oh, that's got
It's a lot to
malt
it.
funk.
A lot to it.
That's interesting.
and maybe even a little smoky.
There's like a char note, a wood char note in there.
It is,
Smells
but
like
with the sour grain.
Wet hay.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's a chance, because they own these, the people who make Famous Grouse also own Highland Park and Macallan. So there could be Highland Park and Macallan in this malt. Now the base is going to be grain, but the malts could include Highland Park and Macallan.
Wow.
Oh, it drinks really flat.
It does. It doesn't unfold and evolve and switch it up a lot. But the flavors that are there.
You know,
It is
It's
nutty.
nice.
I don't mind this. We've been drinking a whole bunch of just nice single malt.
Yeah.
This is not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't pick it over anything we've had.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's not the most amazing scotch I've ever had, but it's certainly not bad.
Yeah.
Now, I've got a finisher for you. You ready? Oh man, look at this. There's spots right there that are wet, and the glass isn't even sliding across it.
Need some weenus grease.
Yeah.
That was gentle.
Bless.
That was nice.
You ready?
Delicate. Yeah. That
what
was
the-
awful.
Gummed up on the works.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take it.
All right. Laphroaig Select.
Whoa!
Ha ha!
It's like an angry mint.
We started with used bourbon casks,
Right.
then moved them into, it was either recharred or brand new American oak. I think it's brand new American oak.
Oh, really?
But only for like 6 months.
Wow.
And then they
You
took
can-
those.
A lot of flavor in 6 months.
Yeah. And then they took those and they blended them with everything else they have at Laphroaig
Right.
to create this flavor profile.
This technically isn't the Laphroaig that went up to the top of the 80 proof list.
That was a Laphroaig 10,
Right.
but we don't get the 80 proof version in the US.
So it's our European MBs that voted up the Laphroaig 10 because they
Yeah.
get it at 40%.
yes.
They get it at 40%, but the Laphroaig Select, this is the 40% ABV we can get. I'm kind of excited because even though it's 40%, there's a lot on that nose.
It's still Laphroaig. It's still, even at 80 proof and select and a blend of things and no age statement, this is still thoroughly Laphroaig.
Yeah.
It's
That's
mild.
delightful.
It's so mild compared to the 10.
I really like that.
Oh, it's super oily.
You really like that?
I do, yeah.
Nice.
The notes I'm getting are like a really briny note, and then the smoke isn't like a campfire. It's not a savory, meaty thing.
But the palate is so gentle and quiet. It's not very dramatic. The Ochiltosian is more complex in the palate than this is.
It's like you dipped,
which is weird.
It's like if you dipped a walnut in salt water and popped it in your mouth. And then
Interesting.
there's alcohol involved.
When I first started drinking it, it tasted more like I was cooking a slice of ham on some mulch, like over a burning mulch.
After your sip?
But then the
Okay.
first couple, and then it starts to kind of go away a little bit.
Okay.
The
So
more I drink
it's
it.
mellowing now.
In the comments below, if you didn't see the 80 proof scotch that's your favorite, what do you like? What do you enjoy in there? Put in the comments, and then why do you enjoy it? Because that's what makes the comments interesting. So, speaking of comments, Stillet said on the last episode, so is that a box that you're standing on, or did you dig a hole? Awesome episode, guys. Love your work. What's going on down there?
Yeah, I was on that last episode.
That's
Yeah, it's
This
shorter
is how
this
tall
time.
I am naturally.
John Goodsell says, trust me on this one. 1.5 ounce of bourbon, 0.5 ounce of real maple syrup, 4 ounces of cold brew coffee. Shake well with ice and strain into your glass.
The maple
I like that
syrup,
idea.
that sounds good.
That sounds delicious, but I think it has to be cold brew if you're just going to do it black, based on what we're saying. We got Arcana Shruff. Their ad reads keep getting better and better. That was the goats overnight.
No, that was one of my favorites because I clicked it and I'm like, what the? I knew where they were shooting, and I get a call from Rex. He's like, do you know anybody with a goat? I'm like, what? No, I don't know anybody with a goat. And then like the next day, a thing drops into Slack and it has a goat head, and I'm like, I've got to see what they were doing. And so I click it, and it gets to the. You're like, shh. He's like, oats, and I lost my shit.
That was Brianna's goat contact.
Yes, I actually
the
knew him
best.
for his donkey.
We bop and hippity hop, I'm as happy as I can be.